Jen, give me a thumbs up when you're good.
We're ready.
Okay. Meeting's called to order. It is a little bit past 10. We have started doing a roll call. Folks asked for it. They want to know who's in the room, particularly online. So starting that way, you want to use Ivor? Call in. John?
John Shovel.
Miranda Barry.
Paul Barrett.
Kim Wood.
Phil Foran. It's quorum.
And Jeremy is.
Jeremy's online.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning, all.
Good morning, Jeremy. Great. All right, we're good to go.
Okay. First up is minutes.
The minutes, I motion to approve the minutes.
I second that motion.
Good minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They're approved. Thank you as always, Jim.
Okay. And then we have a few Cs of A. Actually, I'll start with 237. I know you didn't include it, but I have it.
Or did we get new information?
No, Craig is on the line. Well, this was a condition that we needed. Remember, this is the woman who really wanted the HPC's feedback on types of windows, and she was going to provide us the spec sheets. So really the question, I think she needs someone to reach out to her.
Yeah.
So it's either Craig or Phil. Kim? Or-
Phil.
Yeah.
Phil's got to reach out.
Say what? You're no, I'm happy to if you don't think that's.
Well, you're
A good idea.
You're the easiest person to talk to.
Huh?
Severe disposition.
No, Kim has a better disposition and she actually has skills.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Kidding, of course.
Sorry. Is that the next step on that, Jim?
Yes.
I think that she was very unsure of herself.
Yeah.
And so I think that your guidance would go a long way.
I will do next.
Next up is 123. This is Walter Chatham's home only. This was a C of A for the rear porch demo, the staircase, and the modified windows and window openings on the home structure itself at 123 Union Street.
Yes.
Kim, motion. Seconded, you all in favor? Aye. See those approved.
Next up is 718 Columbia. And that was the Lucky Petroleum, which is the new name for it, alterations to the existing storefront, the stucco, the brick face.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Great improvement.
Kim and somebody else, you, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Okay, and last is 512 Union Street. And that was for the demolition of the mudroom and the kitchen windows with the black standing seam metal roof. She came in at the end. It was an earlier application from November 1st.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Aye.
Hugh, motion, second Paul, all in favor? Approved.
Okay. And then we have a couple of continuations. The first one is 251 Allen Street. That is the B&B sign, the round Hudson Mariner, I think,
The
Navigator.
82 inch sign.
Did we get new information from the applicant? We had
Craig is
asked the applicant, I believe, to consider, among other things, some options, but something that wasn't 8 feet.
Right. So Craig is online. We have not received any new ideas from him, but maybe he sent them to Craig. And Craig is muted, so I'm going to just assume that we didn't.
I'm assuming not.
I haven't gotten anything.
Okay.
Because I had a conversation with the applicant as well. He's my next door neighbor down on Warren Street. And I said, this is not the way to go forward. Came back and thought, all right, let's see.
Can we just take it off the agenda moving forward until they do come back?
Could do.
It's in the continuation, but I'll just take it off.
It's just a way of tracking, but yeah, probably so.
Okay. And then next up, moving forward, is 123 Union Street. And this is for the garage apartment that will face Partition Street. And that is Mr. Walter Chatham. And he is online. Walter?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Jan, do you have the, sorry, the ability to go through those photographs in the presentation I sent?
I do. Let me,
Can we start with
Let
the
me-
photos?
yes, would you like to start with the Partition Street?
Oh, I want to start with the video.
Well, there's you had sent me, what would you like me to start with?
I think I sent you some photographs, a file of photos. So I'd like to
Okay.
start with that and then go to the presentation that I teed up.
Okay.
Walter, just some housekeeping. Did you submit an application for a new C of A?
That's an interesting question. You mean just for the back house?
Yes, because you modified your last application to remove the back house, so that's done and dusted. So
Okay,
you do
so,
need an application for this new proposal.
okay, so can I just basically recycle the old application?
I mean, I would ask that you submit it with a new date, because otherwise it makes it very difficult for our record keeping, because each C of A is tracked to an application
And a date.
and a date.
Okay, I understand. So can we move forward now and I can send that to you right after the meeting?
I mean, that's up to Phil. I'm
Yes.
okay with it, but just want to make sure that gets done.
John says it's good. Good to go.
Great, thank you. Thank you. All right, so,
Well, can you
John?
see, is this the right folder?
yes, this is perfect.
Okay.
Getting a little feedback. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's,
can you mute yourself or lower your computer?
I think I fixed it, sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, first up, this is the first photo.
right, perfect. So I just thought we'd go down the alley, Partition Street, the street, which is named an alley by some, very quickly. So we can go through these quickly. This is at the beginning of the street up near me where it intersects 5th Street. There was a contention made that this is not a street of houses. Certainly this block would obviate that. This entire block has got houses facing on it. Can we go to the next one? Sorry, some of which are really quite street worthy. This is not a back house. This is not a carriage house. Nevertheless, moving on, let's keep going. We can move quickly through these. At the other end of the street, starting up the street, you have a house right up, a major house right up against the street. Then can we move up a little bit? The next slide. This is the one that I mistakenly put in front of you guys last week. This is moving up a little bit. And on the right is the school, obviously the back of the old school that is now a communications laboratory and so forth. And there's a typical guest house. This happens to belong to a friend of ours on the alley that was probably built in the 60s or 70s, I'm guessing. And it follows the same pattern of 2 garage doors and some residential windows above. So then jumping over to a street, this was a building that was pointed out to us as a worthy model, something that Jeremiah had designed for the back of a very important house. And again, it is the 2 garage doors now with the principal entry door in the middle and 5 windows above. And no less an august source than Gossips of Rivertown cited this as an example of an appropriate development on the alley. So let's keep going. Okay, so there's that one again. Pretty obvious what's going on there. And then let's keep going because I know we've got a lot of stuff to get to. So directly across the street from our site, this is what you have. You have an old, probably garage building. You can see where they closed up what looks like it could have been the garage opening. And then it's kind of been remade in this strange way that I won't comment on. Let's keep going. So again, people wanted to know the character of the immediate area. So the next couple of shots are directly across the street from us. Let's keep going. No need to linger on that. Keep going, please. Okay, so this is basically, this shot is what would be across the street from us if you went through that fence. Okay, so let's keep going. Keep going, please. I'm getting a very strange background, like somebody's vacuuming their car. Can somebody stop that, please?
Was me, Walter, sorry.
Sorry, didn't mean to
Well,
out the chairman. Okay, and then finally, the money shot. Here's what we have on our property now. We have a blank fence, a collapsed garage, and a kind of wiggly aluminum line, and some mismatched fences. Okay, so let's keep going. And then also across the street from us is this, which I expect eventually will get something on it. It's a nice piece of property. Somebody will probably develop that. So, the one thing I didn't agree with John, and John and I usually see eye to eye, is this is a street that is in transition. We're making decisions now that will affect the future of this street. And so, we can make the wrong decision and it's probably not going to wreck anything, but it would be awfully nice to decide whether you want this to be an A street, a B street, or an alley. If it's an alley, it has no development potential and will only be a place to store cars. If it's a B street, which is I think what your preference is, it has limited development potential and it'll be a street of garages facing the street. And I think we got a very strong objection to that last week. So with that, Jan, can we segue into the next presentation? I mean, I did have a panorama in there somewhere, but I don't see it, so we can forget about it.
Okay. And then, is it the 123 March 9th presentation that you'd like to show?
Yes, please.
Uh-huh.
That's perfect.
Okay. Let me reshare. Okay.
Great. So the criticisms that I received and took to heart last time were, this is too much of an imposition on the alley. One of our next door neighbors, who I believe is across Union Street, but I'm not positive, complained that this was inappropriate, that it was going to dwarf the property, whatever. And so basically what we're now proposing is we took our little building, we shortened it by a foot, so the height came down. We recladded in wood siding and we rotated it 90 degrees. So if you look at the lower elevation, the one that says South Partition Street, you will now see a hopefully very attractive blank end gable on the alley with a hopefully attractive fence. Behind the fence will be a paved car court, and we will then have the building the way we had it before, but rotated 90 degrees. So there'll be a pedestrian entrance over on the left in the plan where there's a 6'8" dimension. That would be how you'd come home if you were just walking up from Talbot and Arding. And then there's yes, that's a pedestrian, and that would also be available for the owners of 123 Union to come through on. And then there's a car gate further down, which would be concealed just as part of a solid wood fence that would have a scallop top. Other things that we did, we took the detailing down another notch. We've kind of left it a little bit of a, how they sometimes detail wood buildings as if they were stone with lintels, as opposed to the kind of wood frames that would be normative. So we've left the lintels on. They'd be wood now. We're happy to take them off if this is still too fancy. And basically, we just simplified it to the point where we're hoping it meets everybody's vision of a B street, which is what I think the HPC wants this to be.
Cool.
Is there another view you would like me to share?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I was just winding up and we haven't even done the presentation yet. So that's the details, and it just shows that we'd be using some sort of a patterned garage door We're going to try and do outswing, but if not, we would do an overhead segmented door with this pattern shown on it as we've done before. And again, it's behind the fence, so I don't think it's a big deal. And then Jan, if you can just keep going, we'll get to the, yeah. So this is the existing building and the adjacent neighbor. And then we just keep rolling right through.
Walter?
Yeah.
Did you want to?
Oh, I'm just
Okay.
letting everybody absorb it
Okay.
because it's a picture, so there it is. That changes the attitude of the building, in my opinion, entirely, and turns it into a subservient building, which is, I think, what you all wanted. And, you're not going to see these long elevations because there's a forest of trees on the adjacent property. But if there was no vegetation, this is the view you'd see. And then it would be our intention to plant a row of trees opposite this building. So coming down the street, that would make it more or less invisible. And that's on the site plan. And then this is a nice shot. Maybe we can end with this one, Jan, if this is indeed the last one, because this really shows how it relates to the existing wing on the building, a wing which we believe might have even been the original house. So it's doing the same thing in terms of urban patterning. And I'm not going to say anything more because I think I've made all the points that I need to make. And I hopefully have hit a resonant chord in the members of the review board that didn't think this was appropriate before.
Walter, you're going to stand back for a minute and let the.
Yeah,
commission
absolutely. I'm done.
discuss? Thank you very much. That was good stuff. Kim?
Still absorbing.
I always get to go first.
Huh? Because she's an architect and you're not.
I like it. I think it's a good solution.
I do too.
I think it's appropriate. I think that having it rotated on the lot to have less of the face on the street works. Some of the comments that were made, and I like it. For whatever that's worth.
I also appreciate the analytics of what's going on the street.
Yes.
Agree or disagree, but it was very well done. John?
Well, I do appreciate the change in material, and I appreciate the change in orientation. And I think they very thoughtfully approached the way to get to the garage as opposed to coming out. I think all of that is an improvement. I do think, however, that it's a new application, drastically different than what we saw before. And I think, Walter, not to attenuate this process forever, I think it merits a public hearing. Because it is a house granted.
Did we not have a public
We
hearing?
did, but we had a public hearing on a very different proposal.
I understand, and were we not expected, or was the applicant not expected to respond to the input from that public hearing?
I think the applicant did. The scale is still large, and it's still an addition of a very large structure in the back in the alley. So that's what it is. I want to commend Walter for taking the feedback seriously, but it's still, a 2.5-story building back there. I get the grade difference, I understand all that. And I definitely think that the change in aspect from brick to siding is notably improved.
Okay.
However, you did show a lot of existing buildings on the same street.
Sure.
That in scale and design are similar.
The issues as I understood it, and maybe we should refer to the minutes coming out of the previous building. One was some unfortunate branding, which we were all responsible for, which was the whole Navy thing. Not helpful in terms of positioning the product. From my point of view, the like-for-like replication of the brick material and sort of a mini version of the design was a little disconcerting. That's been addressed. The public had raised comments, which I don't think were actually accurate, that there was no such thing as residential and so on, that this was all either garage or subservient structures, which is not true. We've come a long way. I'll refer back to the board anyway on what y'all want to do next. Miranda?
I think that Walter has addressed the comments that the public made and that we made. And I'm not sure about the issue of a public hearing. It is an important structure. It's had some controversy. It might be, you know, in an excess of caution to make sure the public says, yes, this one is better. It might be a better thing to do, but basically I feel the change of material, and it does feel the scale is smaller because of the change of orientation, and that was the thing that was concerning.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I was saying. And again, a lot of the houses on the street tie into what Walter has designed. And yes, there's the excess of caution aspect of it, but at the same time, I think that based on the previous meeting, public meeting, we've addressed a lot of those things.
I mean, if we had to vote now, I would vote for it, so that's.
I would like to come to a vote,
We
including
can't
whether or
vote
not we
today, we
wait
don't
for
have an
public hearing.
application before us, so I just wonder if we're not, it seems to me, Victoria can correct me, we could schedule a public hearing for next time. Walter was promptly get us the application, he's just to dupe and change the date. Then we're not gonna vote before next time anyway, we could have the public hearing, take their feedback, vote, and not delay Walter at all in the process.
I understand. Let's go on. I have a thought, John, but I want to hear from, not me.
You know, I like the changes very much, and if it was a vote today, I'd probably vote yes, but I can appreciate, you know, just letting the public express their opinions, and as you said, if it's still a go, we're really not losing anything, it's gonna be another 2 weeks.
I have Commissioner Steins also has a
Jeremy?
comment.
Yeah, I just put in the text that I agree that Walter's addressed our primary concerns. While I still think there's a scale issue, there are other precedents on the street, so it makes sense that he's using those as an example. And if I had to vote today, I would vote yes on this.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I agree with what everyone's saying. I think the reason why part of the public question is a hot topic is because we are seeing more applications on Partition Street, right, that are building up, and it's wanting to make sure that there's agreement on what is appropriate, right, with the community, and that makes it tougher, I think. So the strategy that John laid out to, you know, it's the same amount of time, it's making sure we hear their voice, I support that, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same amount of time, and I'm all for it as well if we feel it's necessary, but if we all are
Okay.
saying we vote for
I
it.
got a thought on it, but I want to be sure everyone else is talking, so I don't want to. Did everyone get a shot talking about this?
I do have a hand raised.
A person?
Yes.
I'd like to just continue the commission.
Okay.
Discussions, and we'll go to folks online. I think this becomes a very weird use of the public hearing tool. If we layer public hearing on top of public hearing on top of public hearing, it was extremely useful the first time. We are obligated, as John has pointed out before, by default, to draw in public comment, although we do anyway, nonetheless, an informal, which we did. We got that. The applicant responded to it in every thoughtful way I can think of, and we're now going back to the public.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I think that's an abdication of our responsibility as a commission. I don't think that it should go back to the public again. We have input.
And also, is this appropriate? Is it, you may not like the design or whatever, but is it an appropriate structure?
Our purpose here is not to be directed by public comment. The reason there's a commission is there's a representative group to, on ourselves, have a responsibility to reflect the community as mores change and tastes change and situation changes, which gives us flexibility around the code itself. Otherwise, you could run the whole thing with code enforcement, architect, and historian. You would not need a commission if it were not intentionally structured for us to reflect back public thinking, which we're doing. We did, we invited it. I really think it's a mistake. At this point, all we're doing is raising a red flag for folks who are always out there and who are inclined to say, no, I don't like that. I don't think that we're soliciting actual opinion anymore. I think it's an invitation to negativity, but that's my opinion.
My opinion is different.
Sure.
I believe that the structure, the proposal that we've now got before us is a different proposal. The public spoke on the materials which were addressed, and they also spoke on the scale and mass, and that hasn't changed. So if I don't, given that this is a new application and that the default is to have a public hearing, and that it can be brisk, I don't see that it'll take more than a few moments. And I would also remind the commission that last meeting, 2 weeks ago, we got an excellent source of feedback from the public, and we were able to use it to make our decision. And I think it gives a lot of credibility to the decision that was made. I understand that much of this has been addressed. It is still a house, brand new house, being placed on Partition Street. Like if the rest of the commission doesn't feel the public hearing is warranted, then
We'll vote on it.
that's just one man's opinion.
No, John, good enough.
Just
We'll vote on
pointing
it.
out, you could have, just a few things. The default is to hold a public hearing. And I don't think the reason should be, since we already held one, we don't need one. Because, so for instance, if the navigator comes back in, you held a public hearing, you closed that out and voted. If they come in with a radically different sign, you wouldn't want to say, well, we held a public hearing on the other one, so we don't need to hold one on this one.
Understand that?
So I don't think that's the basis. It should be more whether this was a continuation of the old application or not, and whether, this was a direct response to that application. And since this is technically a new application, the default is to hold a public hearing. But I could have a C of A prepared for the next meeting. Since you can't vote today anyways without the application, I can have it prepared so that if everyone is ready to vote at the next meeting, you can actually vote on the C of A.
And then we save Walter 2 weeks, and we can still get some input. Unless there's pitchforks at the front, then you will take in some input, and we can make informed votes.
And even if there are pitchforks, it's not, you don't make your decision based on public opposition, you make it based on criteria in the code.
Hopefully.
Well,
Hopefully, I mean, you know that in any public process, usually the strongest voices, the most outspoken people tend to be negative.
only people that can.
It's the nature of the beast, so we need to be careful with that.
But Phil, we have done this process for nearly a decade together. And
But I learned very little. No, I
No, it is not that case, it's just we've gotten great intel and sometimes not, but we've also gotten great information from the public.
True that.
Whose asset this is and whose asset Partition Street is.
Well, we're one another's assets. How would we vote, Victoria, if we were to follow your proposal?
I think you would just schedule the hearing, but I will have it, I've heard the discussion, I'll have it prepared so that at the next meeting, if you say, I want to vote on the C of A, I will have it ready, and Jan will have it ready to vote.
So if we were to have a motion right now, the motion would be to schedule a public hearing in 2 weeks.
That sounds like it.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I think what John's saying makes sense. I mean, it doesn't cost them any time, and we will get some information, so.
I know you, I was just getting weepy. Let's have a motion to schedule a public hearing in 2 weeks. That would be Paul and you, all in favor? Done. So be it. Walter, you on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you heard Victoria's description of what we're gonna do. She will have a C of A done at that meeting. You need to get a properly dated app to us before then, and this, and to Craig, obviously.
Great.
And this should waste no time.
Great. I'll have it to you this afternoon.
Okay. And Walter, thank you so much for pulling all this stuff together. It's good stuff.
No worries. Since I'm now liking to call in from Europe, the next time I speak to you, I'll be in Denmark. So I'll see you in 2 weeks from
I
Denmark.
hope we understand you then.
Do you have a point of view on Greenland, or you're gonna?
Actually, I didn't want to mention this, but the Democrats have asked me to go over and see if we can make a deal with Denmark.
Well done then. Thank you very much.
Walter, thank you for your thoughtful presentation.
No worries. John, one thing, it was shortened. We shortened it, I think, 18 inches. So it's not as massive as it was, which is why it looks a little bit cuter than it did before. Other than that, it's the same.
Well, hey, Walter?
Yeah.
Quit while you're ahead. We're in good shape moving forward.
Okay.
I gotta refrain from commenting.
Thank you.
Robert, Ronald, how was it?
Okay.
What do you got, Chance?
I have a hand raised, but should we,
Yeah, let's do that.
okay,
Is
Mr. Kopnicki?
I see.
Yes, I just
Mr.
wanted to
McGee?
say, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I wanted to make clear that I agree with the commission's decision to hold another public hearing. This is, after all, a new application. I think in particular that the neighbors should have an opportunity, since they commented so extensively on the first proposal, to comment on this proposal. I want to say I take some exception to the chairman's characterization of public hearings as an invitation to negativity. He's made it quite clear. I'd like to finish. He's made it quite clear on a number of occasions that the commission is not ruled or dictated to by the public. We get the message. I think the public has a role in this process, which is an important role. I don't think the public should be discouraged from commenting if that was the chairman's intention. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to respond to that.
Excuse me, Matt McGee would also like to say something.
Hey, Matt can speak in one moment when I finish. I would just like to say that I've worked with the chairman for nearly a decade, and I find him consistent in his solicitation of public opinion, whether or not there's a public hearing process. So I look forward to comment to the next public hearing for which I advocated, but I think the chairman is always open to hearing them.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
Mr. McGee?
Yes, I have, when I lived in Greenwich Village, I dealt quite frequently with the preservation in New York City, and I always understood it to be a public benefit for everyone, that there is such an organization and that there is respect for the noble accomplishments of the past, which we are dealing with here. And I think that the public is the key to the process, not the tail of it. And it's done for the benefit of everyone. And it should be participated in by the public as well. And I think that generally there's been a very respectful attitude from the commission, but at times, you know, it seems to go off the rails, and it really is a matter of public concern that we have landmarking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
We have Mr.
Anyone
Chatham.
else on the cyber world?
Mr. Chatham? Walter?
Yes, I wanted to say also that I both support the chairman and the board and agree that there is always the need for public hearings. In this case, I think Phil was making a genuine attempt to relieve a little bit of the burden on the applicant. And I just want to make a quick little speech. I'll be very brief. But, you know, our fair city was considered during the pandemic a refuge, and a lot of people decided they wanted to come here, and things started heating up a bit. And the general feeling among the people outside of Hudson, and this is universal, is that Hudson is an impossible place to get anything done in, because the people on the boards and the citizens can create a kind of doom loop in which, and I'm not talking about the HPC specifically, I'm making a general comment about the city. And what is happening, in my opinion, is larger developers with on-staff attorneys, engineers, etc., are beginning to define the character of the city because the small developer can't move forward. And I include my client in this project as a small developer because he's doing tiny houses all over the city. So I'm just going to say that opposition is very good, but when it turns into an opposition to a building type or a kind of idea about how the city should grow, you have to be very careful, because by stopping smaller projects from advancing efficiently, you're opening the door to only large projects defining the character of the neighborhood. And I don't think anybody on this conversation wants that. So sorry to make a speech, but please let's keep in mind that month after month, calling applicants back in, perspectives, drawings, consultants, whatever, it's a way of saying to applicants, you're going to have a tough time here and you really better know what you're doing. And that's good. That preserves the city. But again, you're not going to stop growth. Don't think you're going to stop growth. What you're going to do is impede growth in areas that you can control and create uncontrolled growth in areas that you cannot. So I'm sorry for the speech, but there's a balance here. So.
Thanks, Walter. To folks out there in TV land, Walter was also chair of the planning. He knows the commission system very well, and he's worth listening to on this stuff. Okay.
Thank you all. Next up is 608 Columbia. Do we have someone online to speak for 608 Columbia Street? 608 Columbia? Windows.
Okay.
Okay,
Not so much?
not so much. 212 Union Street.
Yeah, hi, it's Madeline here.
Hi, Madeline, how are you?
I'm well, how are you? Uh-oh, wrong camera. Okay, there we go. There you are.
Let me just bring your application up. This is
Great.
for 212?
Correct, yep.
Okay, so I will share it with everybody. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Is this the presentation that you wanted to share?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want me to just talk it through?
Please.
Great. So yeah, 212 Union Street, specifically the alterations we're proposing are just concerning this back half addition, as you can see, which was not original to the building, is not in great shape. And so we will just be repairing. And specifically the proposed changes is to move, you can see that existing gliding window on the, yeah, your mouse is right there, to move the position of that gliding window to the back face of the addition and replace it with a new window, of Marvin glider window. And then to where the existing glider window is, to put in French doors, there, right there, exactly. And then also to replace the back door there, exactly. Those would also be Marvin doors. And so, yeah, that's the proposed change to the addition. We we'll also expect to have to do some repairs and to the siding, but would be planning to keep the same novelty pine siding and painting it to match existing. And then to move the back fence in, not to change the style of the fence, but to just move it in about 9 feet. So those are the proposed changes.
Is there a rendering of the window?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear that question.
The question was, is there a rendering of the proposed windows? And I think this might be it.
Yeah, and if you go to, yeah, exactly. So that's this window style is that, yeah, Marvin Ultimate Glider window, and then it would be the same proportions, but just on the back face instead of the side face of the addition.
Mm-hmm.
And is there an image of the French doors?
If you go to the next one, yeah, exactly. So it would be the Marvin Ultimate swinging doors with the bottom panel to go where essentially the existing glider opening is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only comment I have, the doors are great, by the way, I haven't seen those, is the, that slider window that you're putting into the back. It just, I mean, I suppose that's because there's some internal use that you need just a high, small window.
Yeah, for a bathroom.
Well, it looks like you're gonna have some general improvement to the situation, so. Yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah.
You already have one there anyway, it's just
Yeah.
sliding around.
I think it's,
Pretty much hidden by the fence.
Yeah.
It would be ideal if your client were willing to do something that's a little more compatible with the other windows.
Yeah.
And just aesthetically, but it's not the end of the world.
Would be the
I
horizontal?
mean, the window that's shown here is not a horizontal slider like the one that's there. It's
Oh, I see.
more open, which is great. If you could make that a 2/2, it would look much more like all the other windows and might be more successful.
Yeah, the height is going to be a little bit constrained because it's over a bathroom.
Okay, so it isn't, that is not an example. This that we're looking at now is not.
Oh, it's not the right dimensions, correct. It would be the dimensions of the existing opening, right?
Miranda, say it again. I was following you and then I lost you. There are 2 windows there.
Right, but I was looking at the picture
Oh, I see.
of the window and it looked as if it was going to be more of a vertical window.
Because that's the
but in
call
fact,
out on the
it isn't.
right.
It's gonna be half the size of this.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
it's,
It's long and narrow, and they want it to be operable, which makes sense because it's a bathroom. So, yeah.
and it's wood at least, so.
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
Well, I think it looks good.
Motion to find the application complete. Looks
Yes.
like you and Bull all in favor.
Yes.
Motion to waive the public hearing, request of the attorney, et cetera.
Yeah.
Kim and you all in favor.
Aye.
The city attorney will prepare a C of A. We'll vote on the C of A at the next meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mama.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next up, we have, I'm sorry, which group, we have 2 people in person here, 2 architects for the 540.
538, Union and 537 Warren.
Okay, so would you like to start with 537?
Okay.
Okay, so I have a few things that I've just downloaded. Is there a file that is, here is the submission, 537 Warren Street submission? Yeah, there's one of them. For the people at home, if this is not on the agenda, it was a late, anyway, I got it this morning, and so we are accommodating the applicants who are here in person. So let me make sure that this is.
Warren Street.
Let's see. Are we on, people? Are the people on still? Oh,
Everybody left.
no. Oh, no.
Miranda.
Okay, here they are. Okay,
Yes, there are. Yes.
let me just make sure that we are sharing this. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this is for 537 Warren Street, and as I said, we have two people here in person, and this is the proposal.
All right, so my name is Kevin Conklin with Conklin Architecture. This is Ashley Rubino. She's with us also. We are before you for the first time for 537 Warren Street, formerly the Mexican Radio. The image that you're looking at, I guess I want to just be clear, what you're looking at right there is the site plan. It appears as though we're highlighting this part on the side of the building, and that's not the intent here. It's really, we're here to talk about the building, not the park. So I just want to not have them get nervous about something else. So what we are proposing to do, does she have the?
The renderings as well are part of the package.
Keep going down.
Okay, yeah, just,
So we can just sort of go through. So what we're showing here is just documentation of the existing conditions and what we are proposing to do. So the use is not going to change, it's still going to be proposed as a restaurant in the future. But aesthetically, we are just looking to make improvements to the exterior. Right now, obviously, it has a lot of vibrant colors for the past owner. And what we're proposing is just to clean that up and give it a bit more of an aesthetic that fits into what Hudson and the other buildings are achieving from a vernacular. Window-wise, we're just looking to replace some windows on the front. Well, all of the windows on the front. So we're going to replace them similar in kind. I believe we're looking to relocate the existing door. So right now on this sheet that you're looking at, the existing entrance is on the right-hand side, and we are looking to relocate that to the left-hand side. Otherwise, we're just going to replace the windows, same sticking for the mullions, and they're going to be, I believe, double hung on the top, and then we can go to the next pages. On this side of the building, we're looking to put a large glazed opening in the area you see here hatched, and create some new openings on the top for the mezzanine space above. On the left-hand side, just going to punch in some new openings because that's going to be a corridor along that side of the building. This is facing the park.
This is facing the park.
Correct.
This side of the building also has that tint on it right now, which has been painted as a mural. Right. So I don't know where that, sensitivity wise, I don't think there's any sort of significance to that, but just to make it known.
But if whoever did it, and if they want it, it could simply be removed.
Are you planning on removing it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's brick behind it?
Yes.
So there is brick behind the original two-story portion of the building, and then it lines up, there's brick here behind this, and there's wood siding behind there.
So that's all coming off?
All the tin is coming off the entire side.
We go to the next page. So this is just proposed floor plans. The lower level is just going to be storage space for the most part, refrigeration, an existing bathroom, existing mechanical space. If we go to the next page, this is the proposed layout for the future use. Kitchen in the rear, we're going to have a bar in the front. It's going to have a general store feel, so it's not going to look up to your
as a bar, the whole intention is you come into the space and it feels as if you're transported in time to an old general store. We go to A. And we plan on, right now, the stairs, I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but they come down and they sort of curve and flare out. We just plan on rotating the portion from the landing to the first floor and rotating that 90 degrees. It just worked better spatially than what we were proposing. The next page, the mezzanine, just gonna clean it up.
Largely as is with the new windows overlooking the park on the side.
Are you gonna, you're gonna get back to where the new windows are, because we're mostly concerned with changes to the exterior.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Roof plan, nothing really there. And then the next page, so these are the proposed elevations. And if we want to scroll down through, I think the renderings may be a part of another PDF that you have in the documents, but those will likely help. But for this side of the building, we can discuss this real quick here. So this portion is all brick currently, and we plan to clean that up, repoint, repair as necessary to the natural red color that currently exists.
So this is the part that's under the
Yes.
corrugated and park side?
Yes.
Exactly. So the center portion here, I believe it's a lot of, is it lab?
So the center, at some point in the history of this building and the park next door, there was a building that was the park, that is the park today. And for whatever reason, when that building was removed, it appears that they shared a wall. So what we have right now is just a single wide brick wall where that sort of center facade is right now. So we're gonna pad that wall out to make it flush all the way down the back of the building.
Right.
And put a side, horizontal siding. The idea here is to kind of create 3 elevations to try to make it look like 3 buildings. It's one building, obviously, but, and then the back is gonna have horizontal siding on it as well.
I believe that's the last page on this document.
Could we just pause on this, because it seems like the side that we're gonna make the most changes to. I guess.
Yep, and there's renderings too, so those will.
Oh, good, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Do you have a window schedule since that's the technical document? We just expect to receive specs for a complete application of windows, doors, any other finishes that are being used on the exterior?
Yes, we do have that. Was that not a part of the email?
It could, I actually don't.
You all just got dumped on this morning, so.
Oh, okay.
We have a window schedule.
You sent me 538 Union.
I think for the most part, a lot of them are gonna be ultimates, Marvin ultimates. But I think we're looking into potentially utilizing low-end windows. It's a higher quality window, and those are for more of that large opening, just in case Marvin Ultimate can't do the look we were trying to achieve for those. It'll be a low-end window. We can send you along those specs. So the renderings, so this is putting into context the adjacent, both buildings on either side. So really, we're just looking to clean it up to its original character. And we were going to use black exterior finishes on this, so the ebony color for the Marvin windows. The trim is all going to stay as is on the top, on the cornice. We are intending to add some trim detailing here in the front, because right now it's just this steel bracket, lintel across the top of that, so we're just gonna,
We'll want, sorry to be thinking about this, we will want to see the light specs as well, anything again on the exterior before the application. And then if there is a change in trim, I think we'll want to see detail or further information on what that is.
Absolutely.
It's not just a repair.
Are those shutters, or is it just the nature of the rendering?
nature of the rendering, yeah.
The door, you're moving the door, right?
Yep, the door was here, and we're relocating it right there.
And are you using the same doors, just painting them, or are you going to do new doors?
New doors.
Currently, it's a solid wood door that.
The door original, we don't have any, we're not seeing a lot of I mean, we all walk by this building, but usually we see these in conjunction with existing.
Yep.
Photos.
So we can certainly provide, so this is our first time before you for any project, so we're just a little bit of a learning curve on our part here, but.
Can I ask about the condition of the windows on the second floor in the facade? Can they be repaired or
They're,
Purple.
they're purple, but they're newer, they're not original windows on the second floor, they've already been replaced at some time or another.
And are those lintels over the windows existing?
Yes. Yep. The only new trim we're adding is above these from along the bottom here. Otherwise, all the other trim is existing, just be repainted. It's like a
Is there
steel.
additional exterior lighting?
Likely on the park side.
Cut. Are there specs on that?
We will provide.
I'm just curious, under the aluminum, are there any indications that there were windows there?
There was a door.
There, on the inside, there's a star where there may have been something, we did not pull everything, we've carefully peeled back the corner here and there to sort of explore where one portion of the finished, the original siding where materials started and stopped, but we haven't, there's a possibility that something could show itself, once that's removed. But from the inside, there's only, I think I can only think of one spot where there may be something, visible on the inside of the building.
Jake, so there's this tin applique above, I just Googled the building, right? So to see what's existing there now. So there already is a door on the left.
Correct.
So you're just sort of eliminating the door on the right. There's this tin there's these pieces of tin above each window. I suspect that's been applied to the stone lintel, the stone friezes there. It's not really friezes, it's just an element, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're gonna restore that?
We're going to cover that, everything that's there, that header, that structure that's above. There's the structure you're seeing on your image right there.
This would be something, Jan, I don't know if you could do this, but if you want to pull up, just go to Google Maps and pull up a picture of 537 Warren as it is now, we can compare it to this drawing.
While they're pulling that up, just another note of housekeeping, because I imagine at some point, when you do your signage, that will be a separate application.
Yes. We intentionally left that out of this application.
Okay.
Wait,
Over here, this is.
where is it? Here, okay.
Yep.
That's a metal I-beam, is that correct?
I think there's a piece of steel buried in there, but there's something out in front of it that's, I suspect there's a piece of steel buried in there. But what you're seeing from the street is not steel. There's something, I'm not sure what it is. It's something that's been applied.
This is a lot of steel beams inside.
Correct. There is a steel, the whole mezzanine structure is steel. And I would expect again that front, opening is framed in steel. I assume you can't see it on the inside, but they would be likely there's a steel beam through that, but yes, inside there's steel.
This.
Where, honey, where is
Oh,
it?
if you click down here, actually.
See the bottom right? Uh-huh. Show it to us. There it is, there we go.
Okay.
So this looks like this tin is applied. It looks like the cement in between is just sort of cemented. What are you gonna replace all that
We're gonna cover that with a wooden trim detail that will provide you further information on.
with? Okay. And then these doors now, these windows, the first floor windows, which they don't go to street level.
Correct.
They go to like a Kirby.
Yeah.
How is that gonna change?
Well, they're all gonna go to the floor.
Going to the floor?
Yeah.
Is that a construction? Do you think it was done in the Mexican radio revolution?
Did they do that? Is that you're asking?
What is that? What is that under those two middle windows at the bottom, right? What is that there?
Jeez. offhand. I'm not gonna make something up and tell you that,
Okay,
but
I think what we're gonna wanna know,
Yes.
just a few things, we use these applications sometimes when we're very lucky, come with older photographs of the building.
okay.
So those can be found in a number of spots. And, you know, we also have a lot of, we have sources that we can look for.
We did
We are
look a
lucky.
lot.
Oh, you did already? Did you go to the library?
The history room at the
The
library.
history room at the library?
No, okay.
So if something like that can be found, it gives us so much guidance and makes the approval process more
Yeah.
similar for you and for us. Barring that, we kind of want to know what you can tell from forensics, what was there particularly on the facade. And it looks like you've done a great job with forensics on the side. So if those windows didn't originally, didn't go to the, like if that's an original element there, we all want to know that, right?
Yeah.
So that would impact our approval of your, to the street level windows.
Sure.
Okay?
Also, this is showing two doors, so you saying you're relocating the door?
The current door that is used is on the right, the one that is on
The left.
the left is sealed, it's not an operable door today.
Right.
So what would you fill the space on the right?
It's going to look just like a door, they're gonna look like doors,
But it's gonna be fixed.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
There you
We're just moving the flow of people to the left.
go. Yeah.
And don't take each question for lack of enthusiasm for the project. It's a great building.
Oh, it's
awesome. Looks like it's in great hands, so.
I mean, I
Such
can
a, no.
jerry rig it here, but this is just for us to see
There we
the
go.
before and
There
after.
you go.
So this is the existing,
Mhm.
and this is the proposed. And as they've indicated, this is the new thing right here. This is
Just built on a trim.
But does it have a curve or something? I think, are there line drawings for that, or it looks like, it's not scalloped, right? It's just a straight across?
Correct.
Correct. And then it just returns on the corner.
Might back to the building.
Oh my goodness, we did this history,
And how far out is it?
Yes.
That probably won't come out further than 12 inches.
So as a part of what we will reapply or resubmit to the board, we'll detail that and give information on all of that.
You
I
should
think
see
so,
what,
it's pretty, it's a new element.
Oh, there, right?
So,
You should see what Cole found.
You can guess it, yeah.
It was never the prettiest boy in town.
okay, I got it.
Which
Okay.
makes sense because that is a steel member that goes across the entire facade above the first floor windows and doors.
That's Orion.
Would you mind just?
That was the original image?
That's crazy. Cool.
Oh, wow.
Richmond, and then the luncheonette was right next door.
Where did you find that?
There's a website called Photos by Gibson. And go into collection and they'll have like Hudson 1950, 1960s, 1970s. And sometimes you'll even just catch like who's on a parade
Sure.
or something.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, great, thank you.
So this is already.
It's hard to make sense of.
But you know what I think we can tell here is that this is a heavily altered building.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, unless you're gonna put this back.
Very cool.
Others have, and it's exciting when that happens, but this is exciting.
That's very nice. Okay, thanks, Paul. That's cool.
And this is, so what's the sitch with the park? Right, because it looks like the park is now going to also alter.
So the intention of the new windows and doors to that park, right now, walking by that park sometimes, you don't really want to go in there. So we're hoping that with the engagement of this space and the openings and the life that's going to be within this structure, is we're hoping to make that park more engaging for the public to want to come in.
There'll be a public space, obviously.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
still parking,
But
the cities, you're gonna.
you would work with the city on this?
Yes.
We've talked with the city a while back and in terms of looking at options for the park. Were there options, are there not options? It's, our lawyers and the city's lawyers, everyone's talking about what could happen, what couldn't happen. At this point, we need to do repairs to the foundation wall along the park. So what we're going to do at this point is, the proposed concept at this point is we're going to apply for, we need permission to basically excavate along the building within the park to make our repairs and waterproofing to the foundation wall. We're gonna put it back for like, the one thing that's not being proposed for that is if you can picture walking by or go back to the Google image, there's a large concrete bulkhead right here in the corner, which used to be a chute or something for an access way or something. I think the old, what's Central Hudson just redo, or would they just redo the gas lines? It wasn't Central Hudson, that's whoever it is.
It could have been a coal chute.
It could have been that, but there's an old gas line that goes through that's been abandoned at this point. So we're gonna get rid of, we're not gonna put that back.
It's a very important busking stage.
So, but we're putting it back we're gonna put back, unless the city, has some interest in asking us to do something else, we're not going to, there was discussions about what could happen in there, what should happen in there, and it just became very complicated.
Right.
And we just decided we didn't need that. Clients decided they didn't.
But you're still proposing to get the door windows.
Correct. Correct.
You're proposing to alter the building for that purpose, right?
We are proposing to open the building to the park on the side, correct? We'll have no ownership, no rights to the park, but we're proposing to still have access to it.
The next page, so you're proposing to put, based on the city's approval, tables.
Perhaps.
If allowed.
Okay.
Is
Looks
that
nice.
just a fixed awning, or is that a retractable?
This again is the same detail that's on the front of the building.
Oh, it's not 3D.
It's not,
Okay,
yeah,
I just read
it's just a molding applied to the.
It's so hard when people want black finishes
Mhm.
and then the renderings.
So, it's right, this is a very prominent building, and it's a very prominent site, so we're gonna probably, I'm just gonna fast forward. I have a feeling, you can probably deduce from today, we'll have a public hearing about that.
Absolutely.
My recommendation before that public hearing is to have maybe not render the park, because it's gonna, if you're not altering the park, then you're not asking us to weigh in on whether it's an appropriate alteration of the park, then maybe don't. And then I think you should show these sort of photos as
Yeah,
well, and
certainly.
maybe more, the renderings are beautiful, which would be exciting to everyone, but maybe this is how it is now, this is how it'll be.
Yeah.
This is how it is. This is the side, this is the section of the side, this is what we're. Okay.
Absolutely.
But this is really exciting for this building, for this space, it's an important space.
And even to the extent of engaging people in the park, that one page you were just on, if you go down a couple more. So this would be a pickup area.
The door that's being added to the back of the building. This door does not exist today on that building. That's sort of, the idea is that turns into, if there's if they're gonna make to-go food, it's trying to give a purpose for people other than.
Down into that area.
I hear you, but I think that this could invite a lot of comments on what to do with this park.
Okay.
And all you want to do is have a pickup area.
Yeah.
I wouldn't re-render the park in any, I would render the
just
park
the
as
front?
it is.
Yep. This is how it is.
That is how it is. Okay.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it
Sort of.
Yeah.
We probably
This is
prettied it up for.
We are, as I said, we have to excavate the side of the building. I think it's a conversation with you, with the city, with everyone to understand, are we gonna, right now, I think it's basically concrete or asphalt from side to side. It's pretty hard and cold and gross. Do we, and this is hypothetical, do we put grass along the edge of the building where we propose it, or do we put concrete back? And I don't know who answers that
Well,
question.
where's your property line? Is it,
It's the building, yeah.
oh, so then, so we have some input as to what the materiality would be, but ultimately we need permission from the city.
And that's, we need to continue that. We came to start this process, understanding we might be here for a bit, talking about this over time with you, and there's multiple things happening at different times here with this, so.
To John's point though, it might help you, like, the renderings are beautiful, but if you can insert the rendered building into like an existing, or somehow just
Yeah, yeah.
not represent it, because really does draw the eye and cause someone to want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because it's exciting about that,
It is.
but it's not the centerpiece in what we're voting on.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, focus on the building and what you're planning and leave, and just drop the existing parking, like.
Yeah, not even the tables and chairs.
Yeah, so, okay.
Not even the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It will
And also
seem like
that curve there,
close
that curve there, you have that thing there that's not there today, right?
Correct.
So you will need approval to do that from the
Yes.
city, and you'll need approval from us if it's appropriate. But that's not what you're asking for today. You're just asking for the door.
Maybe.
Would that
But we need to
You have
understand
to
what,
have a separate application for that part.
right,
Well, just leave the park as is,
Yeah.
do what you want with the building, be very, very, delineate everything and clear, and then as John was saying, the before and after photos.
Yeah.
You know, would
We'll
really help
superimpose the rendering on.
walk people through what you're planning on doing.
Now, just make sure it's clear what's there now and what you're going to change, yeah, like the windows on the side, how many are two.
So, ladies and gents, next steps, y'all want a public hearing on this next meeting?
Are you guys, will you be prepared in 2 weeks to address these?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then yes, we should find the,
You're good with that, 2 weeks from today?
I mean, the application is complete enough, right?
Yeah.
Or not?
There's a lot, there's kind of some missing bits there.
We are missing some details, but it seems like it's within reason.
Yeah.
It is.
You can get the,
You make the reach on that, in terms of missing specs.
yes.
Our team is gonna love us.
They should love you, this is a great outbreak for that part.
The concept, it's incredible,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Okay.
We can't wait to eat there.
So at
What kind of food?
the commission, that we move forward, and we're, with the public hearing, 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Whoever just voted, that's you, Rich? Thank
You
you
and
very much, all in favor?
Aye.
Cool.
So,
Someplace you guys, you know.
Friday from now,
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it's always Fridays, yeah.
same time, 10 a.m.
Same deal, 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
Bring donuts.
This is for Roberto.
Do you have another gig too?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
5:30.
What's that?
We're gonna do another project,
And they're references.
5:38.
Oh,
Do
cool.
you want to start here to talk about the scope, or do you want to start with another?
Well, oh no, they just did a pop-up there, they just.
We can go right to the submission documents.
Okay, yeah.
538 Union Street is across the alley from 537 Warren. Same owners. They've purchased the house. House is in pretty sad shape. Essentially, we're keeping it as a single-family house. We are going to create a legal third floor. Currently, the attic has been lived in over time, but you know, it's not a legal space, so we are proposing to create that legal third floor. We're going to replace all the windows. The first and second floor windows are currently double hung windows. We're going to replace them with double hung windows. The third floor, I believe we are replacing those with casement windows.
For egress.
For egress reasons. Understanding the same questions you had for Warren Street apply to this in terms of specifications and details and all of that sort of stuff, so.
And we do have this submission packet for that, which we can forward that to you, I don't know if you received that with this. But this includes 2 copies here, if you guys want to even pass them around. But these have some.
Is that what I'm showing right here?
These are renderings like what we looked at for Warren Street, so what she just handed you.
Or it's just an 8.5 by 11 packet.
Is there another document that
Is it
I'm?
the rendering patch for this?
The renderings are in.
Okay, I'm
Are
sorry.
there existing conditions? Because this building is not painted.
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry,
Wait, no,
no, it is.
It's blue, it's blue.
It's blue or gray or something like
I
that.
must have an old, very old Google Maps picture.
I think it's been painted that color for a very long time based on the condition.
I'm
Right.
just,
It's 538 Union?
Yes.
No, it's blue now, it's my block. But question, you say you want to make the third floor a legal space. Is there a dormer?
That's what I was just about to point out, is that we are adding a dormer to the rear of the building.
Oh, the rear.
So the front facade will look just like the front facade does with new windows and color. The rear facade is going to suddenly look like a three-story, building.
Go back to that previous document.
Okay, I'm just trying, it would be great, just tell me which document you want me to focus on. Not this one?
Not that.
Okay.
That's not right.
They're putting clapboard on it.
The middle.
Right? No,
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It has some.
It's,
The top.
if you close out of this one,
Yeah,
And this one.
this is the one?
Yes.
Okay.
it has renderings down below.
Okay, let me just share this with everybody.
So scroll down, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt with
No,
so we don't have an original, the original building, right? We don't put that in. Is this the building? Okay, so this neighbor next door that's already Plattsburgh?
Yes, yes, that is,
No, it's just white.
it looks white, but it's lighting, it's
It's
very
light.
light blue, light gray, it's.
Okay, Google Maps just has it wrong, but is this,
Is this the building?
no, wait,
That looks good.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, there's concrete stoop, yes. Yep.
Yeah. It's already.
Is this the building?
It is. So we're adding this dormer, we're proposing to add a dormer onto the rear of the building, which will be seen from the alley, to give us the headroom on the third floor to make the appropriate spaces up there. So this all exists, this does not exist. Everything below does, we're replacing the deck, lots of structural issues within this building as well. So there's some structural work, we have to fix foundations, I think we're fixing those all from the inside. But it's going to get a makeover, we're proposing to give it a makeover.
Yeah, the front facade, nothing is changing from trim work or window sizes. The windows are all gonna be replaced similar in size. And if it's an existing double hung, we're replacing it with an existing double hung. I believe we are proposing the Marvin Elevate, which is a part of that package with the simulated divided lights, to match
What's the material?
of the windows. It's fiberglass on the exterior and wood on the interior.
Which is paintable.
It's paintable.
Fiberglass, yeah.
Is there another page you want me to share?
I think this is
Yeah. Okay.
appropriate for our conversations right now.
And is the siding on the front clapboard?
It is,
And you're keeping the same siding? or you
All
have to
existing
replace
to
it?
remain.
it's gotta be cleaned up, it's pretty dire shape, but yes, we're proposing to keep it.
So it's the windows in the front facade on Union Street, and it's the dormer and windows on the rear facade.
Correct. In color.
Okay. The color is not,
Okay.
it's already painted. Okay. Why do you want to keep those shutters?
We just figured they're existing
I
and
thought you wanted.
like.
Alright.
If you want, take them out.
You can do whatever you want. Okay.
Is the door staying?
Yes. It'll be a new door in the existing door location, so doors, windows on the facade. are
Basically, what's the state of the current door?
It's tough. It's a wooden door, it's currently a wooden door,
This may be an original door.
it might be an original door, it's got the doorbell.
Are you gonna replicate it?
We weren't proposing to.
Okay. Is the original door unsalvageable?
I can't tell you that.
Can you bring us photographs and do that, because I don't think we would be enthusiastic about replacing an original door.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the
It's
chimney,
also unpainted.
is the chimney already painted?
Everything's painted, yes.
Where's that relative to mine?
This one's asbestos.
Is there anything else you want to discuss on this?
I don't think so. I think it's, we know what we need to gather to bring to the next.
So this is more of a, here's what we're proposing.
At this point, yes, because, you know,
We're not gonna vote on this, but, you know.
What about the handrails?
So one has definitely been routed off. I don't even think it's there anymore. The one on the right side of the door might still be intact, but, it's Craig's wrought iron.
Yeah, those
But
are all.
these are Flynn, this is not original, and
No, I don't think it's original, but it's,
so we'll need a proposal for what you
yes,
do.
okay, sure.
Are you gonna change the concrete step or just face it or paint
We're just
it?
gonna face it and clean it up. We're not looking to take it out
We'll
too.
need specs on that.
Okay.
The rear door, it looks like you're replicating the same details around the front door back there.
Correct.
Is that, okay?
Yep.
Where's the light going, I'm assuming at the doors?
I'm sorry?
The light you have in the spec package?
Yes, on the inside of the door.
So just, you know, all of that stuff,
Yes.
what light, what railing, what trim, you know, just.
Guys, what do you think? Come back with more detail?
I think so. We can't find this complete yet, so come to us with more detail. And I would include some if you want to replace that door, it shows exactly why you have to give us some photographs of that. So we encourage you, if you can take it, to say that. Okay.
So I don't think we need to take any further action other than ask y'all to come back with all the kind of detailed stuff, historic stuff, whatever, on this house. On the other, we're gonna need to post the Mexican radio public hearing thing. Folks usually, when there's a public hearing, want us to post the stuff online.
Sure.
So as soon as you can get that to us, we'll.
I was just about to ask you, how soon do you need that before the next meeting? How soon do you need this information for either project back to you?
These are two separate.
An
Sure.
hour.
So on the public hearing on Mexican radio, I shouldn't say this in public, we don't always make it, but there's supposed to be a 5-day window between exposing all the information and the public notice and the actual meeting for whatever that makes sense, which means the latest, kind of the end of next week to get that.
We have a week to put something.
To get that up floating in cyberspace. On this one, you will be on the agenda.
Okay.
For 2 weeks from today for this guy. So just get it together as soon as you can, talk to Craig and everybody.
Did you already comment, and I'm sorry if I missed it, if the original windows that you're removing are original to the house?
They might be. They're really rough shaped, wooden double hung windows that are impossible.
Can you please bring some
We will-
photographs
we'll
of
bring
the
photos,
condition, like the
yes.
best of them and the worst,
Yes.
or all of them, whatever.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
The weather's warm, so it's not terrible being in a abandoned building.
If you've got questions or concerns, going forward while you're working on this, for sure, get them to Craig. He can always filter and distribute it to us. And if you wish to copy any or all of the board folks.
How do we get all of your, can you provide us with anyone else's email address? To sort of keep.
If you get it to Craig and Jan,
Okay, that's all,
then everything will happen that way.
okay, perfect.
I do have a hand raised.
Okay.
Mr. Kopnicki, I see that your hand is raised. Did you have something to speak about? Mr. Kopnicki?
Sorry, I neglected to lower my hand. I really don't have any more comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
That's like an excellent plan. Jan, you got anything else on the agenda?
Thanks.
That's it.
We're clear. We have a motion, a second from Miranda, all in favor? Aye. Adjourn.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.